Hello and welcome to the 9th day of the Ship It challenge. And today actually I want to go with you through my Trello board to see what the current status is, right? There's actually a third of the challenge is already behind me. And so today I want to see a little bit how far I have come and how much I deviated actually from my initial plan. I think quite a bit. We make plans and then we adjust plans and we make things new, right? So, but as always, before I do so, let's go on to Twitter. And sorry, to adjust a little bit my microphone, otherwise you will hear the typing really loud, and then you can watch me doing my Twitter thing, which is amazing, right? Always the same process. I'm not tweeting a lot right now. So there are not a lot of tweets here, day 8. I also realized that today, it's day 8. Good. I actually thought I'm 1 day behind, but I'm actually fine. Day 9. I don't know, I got an email, it's day 10 from Women Make today, so maybe that's why I was confused. Day 9. So, today I mostly worked on the code review book, right? Because I'm actually writing a code review book together with a colleague of mine, a friend of mine. And so I mostly worked on the code review book instead of the tool. And I feel today is the day that I look at the initial plan, see what went right and where I deviated, went as initially, right? It's so stupid. I look at the initial plan and see how much I deviated from it and adjust it. If you want you can help me with this on my today's Twitch stream. And then let's put the link here again. And then let's see. Today I mostly worked on the code review book instead of the tool work. And I feel and today is also the day that I look at the initial plan to see how much I deviated from it and to adjust it. You can help me with this on my today's Twitch stream. So, that's it, right? So, let's have a look. Okay. There are many things. Actually, for the code review book today, I wrote about how people learn and the differences between how novice learners are processing information and how expert learners are processing information. And in general, what helps us learn. And there are many theories about how people learn and, what makes for a good learning experience. A very common thing is either you have a worked example, it's called worked example, or learning by example. So somebody actually shows you an example and you have a problem, but you also have the solution to the problem and somebody walks you through. Very often we have that in mathematics, for example. And so you have a step-by-step guide to how you can go about this solving this problem. Sorry. And the other idea is that we actually learn by by ends mean, right? So it means that means end, so that we are just trying different ways to come to a solution, and we are struggling and we are going through the process. And so there are actually, I think these are the main two school of thought, where one camp thinks, well, it's really important that people don't get, the instructions to start a problem and then finish a problem, but they have to really work through the problems to understand, derive the different meanings, and be able to, solve more problems based on how they went through this very challenging first problem. And then the other camp is, well, why not give people really the tools to solve problems of the same kind, right? And so those are the two, and so I was talking about this today. And I think there were also there are a couple of studies. There's actually a really nice book. It's called Cognitive Load, I think. I don't know if it's the complete title, or maybe I forgot. But and it's also packed with research and with science behind learning. And there have been quite a lot of studies that show that worked example, so learning by example, is very, very beneficial, because you're not only getting the information instructions, but the instructions somehow are a mental model. So somehow you can look into the mind of an expert and extract things out of there. And so I was a little bit thinking about, code reviews, obviously, in this regard, and how expert and novices learning changes in code reviews in general. How do code reviews change for experts, and how do they change for novice? Because they are apparently changing, right? And I see that working with different teams. I see that, and also if you ask people, there are many perceptions about, what a junior, a novice should learn in code reviews, and that they are learning a lot and it's very beneficial for them. And then for expert, it's not that beneficial anymore. And so I think it really depends also with the practice that you have. Obviously, if you're just starting out, there will be a lot of different things. Hi, Emilias. Nice that you're joining me here. I'm just talking about cognitive load and learning, and today I wrote about my about a chapter in my code review book, in the code review book that I'm writing together with a friend. And I was concentrating on mentoring and learning chapter, and I actually should work on a code review tool right now. So this is the stream is all about this, but today I mainly worked on the book, so I have to tell you a little bit about this. Anyway, and so I think that the learning, and this also research shows that learning, how we learn, really should change with the status of how experienced we are. So for example, they also did experiments with worked examples, so learning by examples where you give the instructions, and for beginners or for people that are fairly new to the space, to the problem space, instructions can be very, very beneficial, because somehow they are a mental model. They're representing a mental model for you to understand, right? So you have access to that, and so you can take that and by practicing and by understanding this, and it's also a little bit like mimicking what we do, which is a very primitive or primal, I think it's primal way of learning that we have, that we somehow also have internalized. We get new models in our long-term memory, and then later on we can use that models to actually solve really new problems. And if you're an expert, on the other hand, instructions can be counterproductive, right? So they could actually distract you from the problem-solving task, because you already have different mental models. And so if you have to follow these instructions, this is it's either redundant, or it's even distracting and decreasing your performance. And there are several studies on that. Anyway, what I wanted to say with that is that probably also code reviews should change for how we give feedback for a junior should be different than how we give feedback for a more senior person, right? A more experienced person. and how much in depth we are going with explaining the solutions that we are creating. I think it also changes because somehow the author itself in a code review is the expert on that code change. But obviously, if this is a very junior person or a very senior person, this gives another depth into how we should actually phrase the feedback and how much we should help them to find a new solution and things like that. Anyway, this was about the book. But now I wanted to go with you a little bit through my Trello board and look how far I actually came on this challenge. So it's now day 10 or day 9, sorry, day 9, but almost 30%, right, of the challenge. And so maybe we should reflect a little bit what I actually set out to achieve in this month and how far I came, and then based on that, reiterate, make new plans, and rethink if what I actually said that I'm gonna do is a good plan or not. And I can tell you I deviated quite a bit. When will the book come out? Probably in spring, at least that's what I hope. My co-author doesn't think it will be spring, so maybe, let's say, summer 2021. So we want to have the book finished by the end of the year, so that's really close. And there's actually, I have a early adopter reader list if you want to hop on. So I definitely start sending out more chapters. I already sent it out a couple of things to very early readers, and so I think this will be more frequent. And then there's the editing part, right? Like where we really go through the book again and again and again. And make it really shine, and so there will be still a lot of work, I think, going in from December to have it ready for publishing. And we haven't decided yet if we are going to go for the self-publishing route or if we are going to go with O'Reilly, or trying to get associated with one of the bigger publishers. So that's also something that is still undecided, but the book will be sort of ready by end of the year, and then somewhere next year, I hope spring, it will be ready. So let's have a look. I actually gonna switch to my Trello board here, and then I had a couple of things that I was planning to do. I like the implementation of the MVP. Oh, the first writer Twitch. Yeah, I'm actually not really. Yeah, I'm streaming about many things. I'm streaming often about the podcast, sometimes about the writing that I'm doing right now. It's mainly about the tool that I'm building. But yeah, I sometimes edit even the podcast on here. I've never written actually on the Twitch. Do you think that would be interesting? How I'm going about writing this chapter. So, the code review tool. I was actually planning on having a lot of user interaction, right? So this was very important for me that I have I get feedback from the people that are using the tool, and that I get really early an early idea of different customers, potential customer, and this changed a little bit because I have one person that's really interested in the book and that has an actual use case for exactly the tooling and the use case that I envisioned for this tool, right? And so I'm now going overboard with this idea of having several. I think I had like 3 people, now here it is, the name 5 goal. Find 5 potential customers and get early feedback on the tool, right? So this was my initial thought on the first day when I planned out how I'm gonna do this, and so I'm gonna change that now because I will focus on that one person, right? Because I have found one person that really, has a need for the tool that I envisioned. So, this goal is really make this one person happy somehow and have the most fruitful collaboration between the two of us. And then the other potential customers will just come afterwards, after October, right? So now this is really work with one early adopter to understand their needs and wishes. Wishes is needs and requirements, right? Something like that. This is requirements. Okay. So this is how it changed. I really think that, I mean, this is such a positive turnout for me. So I think it's really much better than before. And obviously it's only one person or one organization, but I think having this in-depth relationship with them and really understanding how I could make this tool for one adopter, right? So there's myself and then there's the other person. I think that's enough for the first month. Research on potential products and existing pain points. I think this is less important. I don't know if I have a label. What can I do with this? A label. I could actually make it gray, but there's no gray, right? Something like that. I will just say less important. I just feel that I should really focus on this one person that I got, and I mean, there's only so much you can do, right? So working with that person to really understand what they want and how the tool can help them. Hi, Rich. Nice that you are here as well. I think this is the priority number one. I mean, this is really a opportunity for me, and so I'm gonna do this. There was a question when the book will be available. The book will not be available super soon. There's an early adopter list, so by the end of the year we hope that we have the whole content together and sort of the book in a good state, but then the editing starts, and so I would like to have it released by spring 2021. My co-author thinks it will be later, so let's say summer 2021. But if you want to see or to read some of the chapters about the book, there's an early readers list. So if you go to my website, it's michaelagreiler.com, and then I think it's Code Review Book. Then you can hop on here, and I already sent out a few drafts, a few overviews of the book to really a small set of people. But I think within the next weeks, next month, something like that, I will start sending out more chapters, more draft things about the code review book. So if you want to get early access to that, that's a good way to do that. So coming back to the tool, as I said, I have one person that I want to work with, so everything else I have to rearrange my initial thought, where I thought I have to work with a few people because I didn't think that they will engage very much with me, right? So I thought that, if I find a few people that are interested and looking on my book, I'm gonna send you the link, then that's okay. But I was not thinking that this will be an in-depth relationship with the people, right? With the customer. It's more like, oh, maybe I find somebody and then we have like one email that we are exchanging or something like that, right? So very loosely coupled. But now I have really a person that wants to work with me, that wants this product. So everything will be shuffled around that. So if you're thinking about the MVP, right, the implementation of the MVP, maybe we can think a bit more about what this thing can, right? So what it can right now is it mines the data from GitHub. Actually, I should have like a list here, a checklist. Look at this. Let's make a checklist. Oh, title, sorry. Features. Something like that, right? So mines data from GitHub. And then we have different metrics. We have like the time metric, right? So this one would be one. We have the participation. So time metric is all about how long does the code review take? What is the impact on velocity? We have participation metrics, right? So this is how involved are people in the code review? How much feedback do they give? What's the quality of the feedback? And then we have time, participation, and we have size metrics, right? So this is how large are the code reviews, how complex are the code reviews. There are many other metrics that I actually are going to implement, but not in October. October has 30 days. So I'm going to focus on those three. This will be 3 views more or less of the tool, and I actually have initial things for all 3 of them, but they're not that in depth. So the metrics are actually there, but then there's the visualization, and this is right now I'm doing it by hand and copying it over to Excel because I didn't want to prematurely implement something. But yeah, it's something that I will change this weekend, or hopefully until a Monday or something, right? So visualizing. Oh, I don't know if you visualize of the metrics, right? So this is a big point. I haven't completely decided how to do that. So in the end, I envision an online tool. So I'm thinking about these 3. But for now, I'm thinking because I'm implementing everything in Python, if I should go with one of the Python libraries. So actually today, you can have a look here. Maybe some of you know what I should choose, but I just researched a little bit what we have here. And there is this matplotlib, which I feel like maybe I should do this one. It seems very... So the graphs look like very desktop stylish thingy, right? There's also plotty, but I don't know. This one was one that I thought that I should do just because it says it's the most popular data visualization library. I mean, I don't even know if they're telling the truth, but and then there was another one that I thought is interesting because it's ggplot, because I worked with R a lot before, right? So I did my whole data or a lot of my data analysis work at Microsoft with R, and also with ggplot. So somehow this looks exactly how a lot of my plots looked for the papers and the research that I did. So somehow probably this is why I thought maybe I'm going for this one, but I don't think it's the best. It's the best one. I don't know if some of you are familiar with what I should do with here, and could give me some insights. That would be cool. Yeah, right now I'm thinking about making just some matplotlib that I don't have to do the manual thing, and this will be really the prototype. So I don't think that, I do it, I try it out, I work with the early adopter with this one so that you have some visualization and I don't have to do them by hand. And then this is just one layer of my model view controller implementation, and then I just change it later on. There was also some, I think this one, I don't know even how to pronounce it. Plotly is a web-based toolkit. So somehow I thought maybe this, I don't know. No, I don't know. So right now my thinking is maybe have plotlib as one implementation of the visualization, and then just for prototyping and for trying things out, and then completely forget about the whole implementation and do something nice with these 3 in the next iteration of the in the thing. So let's put that here, investigate matplotlib, right? So we have, the mining is already done, right? The time metric, the participation metric, size metric. So I have to do some more things on that, but they are also quite implemented already. And then there is no visualization yet, except my manual visualization in Excel, which I don't think is really scalable, not even for one person and for one large thing. So I have to investigate. Thank you, Grammarly. Investigate matplotlib or something else, and others, and then choose one and play a little bit around with that. So what else? So if I have the data, if I have the metrics, the first 3 metrics, and then I have like those visualizations, I think this is the first version of the tool. So that would be okay. Actually, this one is already done. Testing the MVP is actually something that I do in iterations. So right now, as I'm implementing the tool, I'm also testing it. The goal is a runnable, not crashing application. I think it's still a good goal. It's a good goal. I like that goal. So ideation phase, understand the feature space, understanding who is the customer, get early feedback on the tooling, marketing analysis, price range. So here I will scale a little bit down because I have this early adopter. So understanding who is the customer, I think this is a check because I know who is the customer is this early adopter, right? So I don't know if this is, how should I do this? Or maybe there's a done, let's put like a done list here, and then let's put it here, right? Understanding who is the customer, and then we make some comments here. Oh, sorry. The early adopter, right? It's a super early adopter, but this one is my customer right now, and I think that's super reasonable. Get early feedback on the tooling. I'm working on this, right? So I'm gonna put this here because this was more meant that I have to find somebody to get early feedback, because it's not so easy to find people that actually want to use your tool, right? Market analysis, price range. Yeah, I actually think I'm not gonna do this thing now. I really focus on understanding, and working with this one person, right? So research, find early potential customers, work with one early adopter. I think this is a good goal. And then marketing, well, I still want to do a little bit of this, right? Like building a landing page, creating a sign up list, and things like that. So this one is still valid, and the other ones, I think they are for another iteration. I think they are for after October. And so let's make a new card, because everything changed a little bit. Like I don't want to create a board. I just want to create another. Where is that button? I just did it, right? Oh, here it is. Work with early adopter. Okay, so early, it looks weird. I misspelled that probably. Yeah, something like that, and then find a potential customer, research on. Let's put that for later. Phase 2. So after October, we can do that, right? Ideation phase and research. So then we can see. I mean, let's make a tool for one. And then let's see how that generalizes for other people, right? Are others finding that interesting as well, right? You can actually archive this list. So good. Learn about sales was on my thing. It will be always on my to-do list. Will never be on the done list. So yeah, more or less that's it, I think. So there are many things to do. I have still to implement quite a bit, especially this visualization, which gives me a little bit of a headache because I haven't worked with a lot of those tools for a long time. These three, I think the last time I touched it was like 8 years ago or something. And then I mostly worked with C# based frameworks, so they are not an option right now. And I don't want to work with R, which I also did quite a bit, but I don't want to work with it right now because I don't feel like this will scale, and it's really far away from this idea that I have how the tool will work. So I have to get a better idea of how to do that with Python and do it in a way that's easy enough to do it right now, that I don't invest a lot of time, for a framework that then is not as I want it to be, because I wanted web-based, right? Yeah, so I think that's actually for today. I will see you again. Let's see. I have actually this. There we are. I will see you maybe tomorrow. I actually was quite okay with my sticking to the plan that I'm online at 9 and do a little stream every day. So I hope I see some of you tomorrow and I tell you what I did on a Saturday. I don't even know. I will work a little bit tomorrow and Sunday as well. But Probably not too much. I have a lot of other things planned as well. And yeah, and then let's see, maybe see you tomorrow, and then let's see how everything goes. So have a good day, and bye bye.